Hopefully I won't get interrupted this time around, but I'm gonna give this video another try. Hi guys, I'm Anita and I'm back with another video. Today is time for my N.E.W.T.s TBR if I can get through it. First up, it's super hot in Denmark. I don't remember when we've had this type of weather for such a long time, and this week has been almost unbearable. Especially yesterday and today has been terrible, and I don't have any air condition or ventilation or anything, so it's really hot everywhere I am. Inside, outside, it doesn't matter. I think I have 29-30 degrees inside my apartment right now. Something like that. But yeah, let's get into the video and I can get through this quickly, hopefully. So the N.E.W.T.s is the follow-up to the O.W.L.s that we did back in April. So in April there was this month-long readathon, or 4 weeks long readathon, that took place where you could take your O.W.L.s exams, which is based on the Harry Potter universe, where in 5th year of Hogwarts you go to these O.W.L.s exams, and then the year later, year 6, you go and have your N.E.W.T.s, which is this part of it. So in order to participate in this readathon, you have to have completed the O.W.L.s readathon, and the topics that you choose for your N.E.W.T.s is going to have to be based on the categories or the subjects that you passed in your O.W.L.s. In order to pass the N.E.W.T.s, you have to pass 2 subjects, and one of those 2 subjects has to be an outstanding. And it is like this, where the first time around in the O.W.L.s you just had to read 1 book per category, but with the N.E.W.T.s it's a little more challenging. If you want to reach an outstanding level of your subject, then you have to read 3 books that corresponds to the specific challenge of that subject. So the subjects each has 3 different challenges. So this means if you have to pass two subjects, with one of them being an outstanding, then you have to read 4 books. So 4 books you have to read in order to complete this challenge. As far as I understand, you don't necessarily have to read the books in order, as long as you have read books for acceptable, exceeded expectations, or outstanding. When you are finishing the challenge, then you've completed that and gotten an outstanding. So as I said before, I have passed 7 subjects for the N.E.W.T.s, and those classes were Ancient Runes, Astronomy, Care of Magical Creatures, Charms, Defense Against the Dark Arts, History of Magic, and Transfiguration. My plan is I'd like to get an outstanding in 2 classes. That will mean I need to read 6 books for that. But I'd also like to pass every single subject that I have finished. So that means in total I'll need to read 11 books, which is doable because I have been reading at least 11 books for the past many months. And this month in particular has been pretty good because I am already on 15-16 books. So, and the month is not over yet. So let's get into my plan. I have kind of a lot of plans, so I've picked 3 books for each of the top subjects, and we will see which ones I'm going to end up reading for, what fits the most with my mood and stuff. So let's get into it. So the first topic was Ancient Runes, and for that, to get an acceptable, you need to read a book set in the past. And for this I'm going to read Witchmark by C.L. Polk. I don't remember when this is set, but I know it's tagged historical fiction on Goodreads. I feel like it's back in the 50s. To get an exceeded expectations, you need to read the oldest books on your TBR. One of the oldest books on your TBR. And I don't have a huge selection to choose between here in my physical books, because I only have what I've been unwrapping from my TBR unwrappings. And none of them are that old except it, and I'm not going to get through that because that's 1300 pages, so it's not going to happen. So if I'm going to read for this challenge, I'm going to read The Distance Between Us by Cassie West, because I've had this on my TBR on Goodreads since 2013, and it's basically one of the first on that list. The other one is The Lord of the Rings, but I want to read The Hobbit first, and The Hobbit was not added until a year later or something to my to be read for some reason. And to get an outstanding, you need to read a book translated from another language. If I haven't already finished it at the time, I'm going to go with Full Metal Alchemist Volume 5, but I think that I will actually finish this today, so it'll be the next volume in the Full Metal Alchemist series, because this is gonna be quick. And it's one of my favorite mangas, and it's obviously translated from Japanese into Danish. So yeah. So the next subject on my list is going to be astronomy, and for that the first challenge is to read a book with stars on the cover. And I have two possibilities, but let's get with it. The first one is Radiance by Catherine M. Valente, because I've been wanting to check out her writing, and this one has a star and a moon on the cover. So yeah, it definitely worked. But the other book is Reaper Man by Terry Pratchett. If you look really closely, there's a few stars in the top of this cover, and this is actually the cover of the audiobook, so I'm not cheating with this one. It is the cover of the audiobook that I will be listening to, so I feel like it works. And it's probably gonna be that one that I pick up. You know me, I love Discworld, and I've been dying to get back into the Death series, so yay! To get an exceeded expectation, I need to read a book with sky in a title or series name. And I found two possibilities for this one, depending on the mood. The first one is The Sky People by S.M. Sterling, or Steal the Sky by Megan E. O'Keefe. These two books I have on my Kindle. And to get an outstanding for this one, I have to read A Story Set on a Different Planet. Not long ago I got a whole big bundle of ebooks, of graphic novel ebooks, for like $25. I got 35 different volumes, and one of them, the series that I have a lot of, is Bravest Warriors, and when I looked at it, it is a graphic novel series that seems to be set on a different planet mostly. And so I'm gonna go and check the first one of those out, and hopefully it works. If it doesn't, I'll try and find something else, or it might just not be the one that I get an outstanding in. We'll have to see. The next one is Care of Magical Creatures, and for that one I need to read a book with an animal on the cover, and I have three options for this one. The first one on my list is Bad Unicorn by Platt F. Clark, which is one of my TBR wrappings. I read the first 24 pages, like a long time ago when I wanted to pick it up, and I didn't get around to it because I had some library books I needed to read. But I'm planning on taking this with me on vacation, so I think I might actually end up reading this one. But if I don't pick this up and I'm more in the mood for a shorter book, I have The Firebringer's Birth, which has unicorns on the cover, so this works as well. Or I have Dødens Terning, or The Death Die, by Kenneth B. Anderson. It has a horse on the cover. This is, if I feel like an audio, I will listen to this one in audio. In order to reach exceeded expectation, you need to read a book that is less than 100 pages. And for this one I have two possibilities. I have one that is 93 pages, and that is Taming the Vampire. I forgot the author. I have it on my Kindle, it's free, and it should be quick. And then I have First Frost, which is only 30 pages, so I guess this works as well. So if I'm in a really tight spot, I'll probably read this, and this is the prequel novel to the Mythos Academy series that I have been working on, which I've been really enjoying. So in order for me to get an outstanding in this category, you need to read a book with dragons in them. And for this I have two possibilities. I'm leaning again towards one more than the other, but it depends on my reading mood. And that is City of Dragons by Robin Hobb, which is the third book in the Rainwhite Chronicles, and this is basically only about dragons and how you raise them and stuff. Actually, they basically own the humans, but that's another thing. But it's all about the dragons. But the other one I have is Pelham by L.L. McNeil. I was kindly sent an e-arc of this by the author, so I hope that I'll get to this one in August. But if for some reason I can make it and get to this ebook in time and read it through it in August, I'll go with the audio. So that is basically why I put both books down. So the next category that I have is charms, and to get an acceptable, I need to read a book with magic, so that is pretty easy. And for that one, I'm gonna try and get to another e-arc that I've been sent, which is called The Exercise of Vital Powers by Ian Gregoire. And I heard about this book first time on Kitty D's channel when she was doing the SPFBO thing last year, and she really highly recommended this. And it doesn't have a lot of reviews on Goodreads, and I feel a little bad about that, because if it's a really good book, it needs more attention, so I hope that I'll be able to get to it. It sounds like kind of something that I will enjoy. To get an exceeded expectation, I have to read a cover that charmed you. I don't know how to, I guess it's a cover that is appealing to me in some way, that I wanted to read because of the cover. And I put down The Summer of Jordi Perez because I think just the colors and this, it just was really appealing to me, so I really wanted to read it just based on the cover. Or the other possibility is The Librarian by Christy Sloat. I just love this cover. I mean, there's books on the cover, and I like how it's sort of mystified with this glittery thing around the cover. So yeah, those two books, either one of those. To get an outstanding, I need to read a book that you think will leave a mark, and I'm pretty sure this one will leave a mark because, I don't know, I don't usually tend to pick up books that will make me cry or make me very emotional, because I don't enjoy reading those types of books, because I basically just want to be happy for the most time when I'm reading, because I feel like there's so many other things that puts me down in a mood or other. However, I have decided that I need to read all of the books that has been narrated by Barney Turbin, who is an amazing audio narrator that narrated Born and also Children of Blood and Bone, which really did a really great job of. So the book that I decided to go with for this one is Allegedly by Tiffany D. Jackson. This is about a girl that has been imprisoned to have killed another baby, but I think that she hasn't done it, so she's falsely accused of this. So I really would like to know more, but I think it will leave a mark because I think it's kind of hurtful and a difficult time for this girl, and so I have a feeling I'll be emotionally invested in this one. For the next subject is going to be Defense Against the Dark Arts. To get an acceptable in this, I need to read the last book in a series, and I haven't decided on this yet because I have a lot of books that it could be, but I'm thinking it might be going to be Rose and the Dagger by Readathon if I have time, because I read through this fairly quickly, the first one fairly quickly when I read that, and this is the final in a duology. However, if I don't find time to that, I'll find something else and read that, because I have 12 different series to choose between, so I have a lot of them. But I think I'm gonna go with this one. That's the one I hope to get to. In order to get an exceeded expectation, you need to read Shiny or Foil cover. The first one on my list is going to be one of my TBR unwrappings, and it is shiny in that it shines like this. So I hope this works, but it's The Rook by Danielle O'Malley. This is an urban fantasy. It should go pretty quickly, but the font is a little smaller than the usual type of urban fantasy, but urban fantasy tends to be fast-paced and easy to read. So I hope that I will be able to speak through it, and I've heard really excellent things about this book by the people who've read this, that I am friends with on Goodreads. Or I have The Extinction Trials by S.M. Wilson. It is sort of very shiny, you can say that, because it has sort of scales on the cover. And this is basically Jurassic Park meets Hunger Game, and that's why I bought it. This is shorter than The Rook, so this is basically the one I'll pick up if I don't have time to read The Rook. In order to get an outstanding, you need to read a book with dark in the title or series, and for that I'm gonna read In a Dark Dark Wood by Ruth Ware, because this is going to be the Read Your Face Off book club pick of the month, and so it fits. In order to finish History of Magic, which is my next category, to get an acceptable, I need to read a book that would fit in at Hogwarts library. And I haven't found a specific book for this yet, but I'm sort of contemplating finding something that has to do with witchcraft in some way, or because I don't have any very ancient looking books, unless you count something like, because they have yellow pages from the library. So I think I could work with this, possibly, I don't know. To get an exceeded expectation, you need to read a book that is published at least 5 years ago. I don't have anything specific written down for this, because that would mean this is published in 2012 or earlier. So yeah, I have a lot of books on my TBR that is published around 2012-ish, so this should not be a problem. Otherwise I can just read a Stephen King book and have that over with, because his books that I've gotten to is just in the beginning of the 80s. So in order to get an outstanding in History of Magic, I need to read a book that's at least 400 pages. And for this one, it could also be anything, because I have a lot of books that are 400 pages or more. The last and final subject that I have is Transfiguration, and in order to get an acceptable in this class, you have to read a cover that is grey. It could be that this will be the time when I finally read Dracula by Bram Stoker, because this is definitely grey. I will probably get an audio because the font is this tiny, but audios can get me through classics pretty quickly. It would be an easy way to get through it, and this book was unwrapped back in October last year, so it's almost a year since I've unwrapped this, so it would be nice to finally cross this off my list. To get an exceeded expectation, you need to read a new to you author, and for this I also have two possibilities. I have Summer Night or Summer Night Sommernattens Rædsel by Dan Simmons. Dan Simmons, I've never read anything by him before, and this is a library book I've checked out. It's quite chunky, but I want to read this one so bad that I'd like to get through this in August, also because it's set over summer, so this should be the time to read this. It's perfect timing. It smells so old, this book, so it probably could be the one at Hogwarts Library because it's so old. Like, it smells like old book smell. But it could also be that I'm reading Good Me, Bad Me, which I don't remember the author name right now, I just wrote down the title, but this is a book club pick for the Deadly Divas book club, which I've recently joined, which is a book club that is hosted and run by Lisa from Books and Smiles, and it's basically mostly psychological thrillers and stuff that they get through. But I'm interested in trying some of these books out because I also want to expand my reading a bit. To get an outstanding in this subject, you'll need to read a book set in a kingdom. I know I'm going to read this book, but for that one I've put down Valor by John Gwynne, which is the second book in the Faithful and the Fallen series. This is basically about all of the different kingdoms. Yeah, there are princes and princesses and definitely also kings and queens. So very highly anticipating this book. It could be that I change course and try to get outstandings in 3 because it fits better, and then just leaving the others. But we'll see how it goes. But yeah, this is my TBR for the NEWTs. Let me know in the comments down below if you're ready to get into your NEWTs exams in August, and what are your plans. Are you planning on trying to finishing all of your O.W.L.s? Are you just going to try to finish a couple of them? Have you read any of the books that I'm planning on reading, and which one do you think I should prioritize? Definitely also let me know about that, and if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video very soon. Goodbye!